Hello, Facebook friends. I'm in South St. Louis. This is close to where a homeless man was run over and killed by an Amtrak train. I'm here right now with Larry Rice, who's been walking the length of this, looking for where other homeless people are staying. Now, where I am right now, let's see. I don't know if you can see it, but right up there are railroad tracks. I'm near a department store here in South St. Louis. Right next to it, there are tracks right at the top of this hill. I'm not going to go and onto any tracks right here. So maybe you can see at the top of that hill there are railroad tracks. This is where the train goes by. I'm not going to walk on or near the tracks because, one, that's illegal. So I'm not going to do that, but I'm some distance away, and you can see the tracks right up there. But there is are some people staying in tents right here along this track. Let me get your name if I can.
My name's Joseph.
Joseph.
Yep.
So how long have you been staying over here?
A couple months through the winter here. Yeah.
What's your reaction to the man getting
it's horrible.
Killed by an Amtrak?
Horrible. Young man. He's only 30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Funny guy too. He was funny. I only met him a couple times, but he seemed like a good character. You know. Sad. That's all I can say about it. Really. You know. Horrible thing. Yeah.
Does that make you have second thoughts about pitching your tent close to a railroad track?
Not really, because I don't go on the railroad tracks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the only thing that could hit me maybe a derailment. That's few far and in between though. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's hard out here. Hard.
What makes you stay over here?
Well, my buddy knows the guy that owns the warehouse. He gave us permission to be here, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's about it. Other than that, they run you off anywhere else, you know what I mean? So I didn't know where to go. I just got out of a long, bad relationship, and I walked away from it, you know what I mean? And with nothing, and this is what it is, man. It is what it is, you know?
Do you think there's enough help for people who are homeless?
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, it's hard for us to even get around half the time. You know what I mean? It is.
How do you mean?
Yeah, as far as getting on a bus or anything. You know what I mean? It's hard to get a job because you're homeless. How can you wake up on time? You know what I mean? It's just different things, you know? A lot of different things. You're hungry half the time. How you going to go work your butt off and you're starving? You know what I mean? You ain't going to have the strength. You mess around and fall out. It's hard, man.
Which means you were here during that bitter cold winter weather.
Yeah.
The bitter cold.
Yeah. Well, I thought I was going to die a couple of nights. I really did. Yeah. If not from smoke inhalation, from trying to put candles in the tent to stay a little warm from the cold itself. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was bad. It was real bad.
What was the worst thing about being out here in that cold? Weather?
Just the bitterness of it. Just bitter cold, man. I thought I was going to die a couple nights. You know what I mean? I don't want to die. I'm still young and hopefully have a future ahead of me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, pretty much. I thought I was going to die out here, you know? It's alone, cold, and bitter.
So you had actually seen the person who was hit by the train?
Yeah, I met him a few days before he was ran over. Just in passing, I give him a couple cigarettes or whatever. He asked me for a few cigarettes. Seemed like a good guy, though. You know, it's sad it happened. You know what I mean? Young, 30 years old, they say, yeah. Horrible thing.
No idea what could have happened. We don't know whether
there's
he was
just no
sleeping on the
telling.
train or...
He might have just been walking the tracks or anything. And, you know, I guess the Amtraks are fairly quiet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if you're in a bad spot to where you can't really necessarily jump out of the way, you're pretty much crap out of luck.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And so no one knows, of course, until they have an investigation. How long do you plan to be out here? I see you got.
Hopefully not long.
I see you got your tent over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see you got your tent over here.
I got stuff piled on it to stay warm, and that's it. There's a tent under it. Right. It's about it, man. Yeah. Pretty much.
This is home for you right now.
For the moment, yeah.
The city always says they have facilities, and the mayor has said they are working on affordable housing for people. Don't they have enough for you to be able to get off the street?
No, not really. I've been through a few things, and they waiting list a couple of years long, and then something happens, and then you get pushed back even further. It's just like a constant cycle of, maybes. You know what I mean? What if, maybe, all that kind of stuff. It never happens. It just don't happen. You know what I mean? A few people do. I was recently shot and mugged, and that's why I haven't been able to work really. You know what I mean? I could hardly stay on my leg very long now. So I guess my best bet would probably be trying to get, some kind of disability or something. I don't know. There's no help.
You were shot and mugged out here?
No, not here.
Okay,
but
but
on
somewhere.
the south side, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now for you, it's just survival.
Yeah, I'm just living. Yeah. Pretty much.
And trying to stay away from the tracks.
Oh yeah, definitely that. Definitely off the track.
Because they're right up there.
Yeah.
But you don't go anywhere.
I don't go near
really.
there. No, no sir. I'm not trying to have that fate. No, thank you.
And you see the trains pass here all the time.
Oh yeah, all day, all night. Amtraks, different trains. You know what I mean? I see a lot of Amtraks that are up there though, and they're pretty quiet. You basically just see them come and go. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But it makes you even more careful now.
Well, sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
It's just a travesty. You know what I mean?
But thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question. How long have you been out here?
I've been out here since November.
What made you come out? Why are you here? Why are you out here?
So unfortunately, I lost my vehicle, and I just didn't have another way to get to work or another way to earn money, and so I ended up out here, hoping that I won't be out here too much longer.
Had you been homeless before you came out here?
No, never.
Really?
Yep.
So you had a job and lost your vehicle?
Yep. Unfortunately, during the winter, painting is a slow season, so wasn't making any money during the winter.
What's your thoughts about being in this? Had you ever seen, let me ask you this, had you ever seen the man who was hit by that train? We're in South St. Louis, guys, right off Kings Highway right now. Had you ever seen the man who was hit by that train?
Yeah, I've met him twice before. Like Danny had said, or I guess his real name is Joseph, but he goes by Danny. He came down here a couple times, asked for a couple cigarettes, some things to do for a couple bucks so he can eat. And he seemed like a nice guy, really funny, but hard working. I mean, he was looking for a job. That's what he originally came down here and asking me for, if I had a job somewhere that he could work for cash as well. And unfortunately, I don't even have one right now.
A lot of people, there's a stereotype that the homeless are people who don't want to work. You're saying that's not true?
No. From what I can see, most of them do want to work. It's just, for example, for me, I don't have an ID right now. And once I get an ID, I have no problem going getting a job. But a lot of them have the same issues, getting an ID, or even like Danny said, waking up on time, or having a shower, or food. By the time you take care of your food necessities for a day, most of the day is gone.
Are there enough, do you think there's enough help in this city for the homeless to help them get back on their feet?
Definitely not to my understanding. I don't know if there's more resources out there that's just hard to reach or hard to access, especially if you don't have a phone or internet access. I don't know how you would reach those resources.
For you, though, hearing about this homeless man killed by a train, how does that make you feel? How do you react to that?
It's unfortunate. I mean, he was very young. He should never have been out here in the first place. This is my opinion. I feel like there's more than enough resources out there to be off the street, and it's not used the correct way.
Of course, you guys are living near the track, not too far from the tracks, but you don't go up there, right? You don't go near those tracks.
No. As far as I'm aware, it's a felony to actually be on train tracks. So, no, we stay away from it.
So you're not trying to get on those tracks, or really not too close to them?
No, it's definitely not a pedestrian highway.
Does it scare you being over here?
Like Danny said, no. I mean, it's the same odds of being hit by it as, if you're on a sidewalk walking. If the train comes off, it comes off. It's a freak accident. But other than that, no. It sucks being woken up by it throughout the night, but other than that, it's not that bad.
Hey, appreciate you talking to me, man.
Thank you.
Hey, Rev, want to ask you a question. So what are your thoughts about all this?
Wow. I mean, people are forced to live out here. The man that was killed recently.
Let's move around here.
The man that
around here.
The man that died just recently ended up homeless. He's like totally lost, going from camp to camp, trying to get orientation. Now, these men out here, we've had a chance to get to know them today, and Pastor Ray Redlick, who works with me, is already going to work trying to get their IDs. There's actually a handicapped woman in this tent out here also that she needs her ID. So we're trying to help get their IDs so they can take step by step to get back out of this situation. But again, this is a second person that I know of that's been homeless, that's been hit and killed by trains this year. I mean, and again, they live along the tracks because there's no other place for them to go. Politicians talk about all the opportunities out there, but there's great disconnect between the individuals that I see on a daily basis, and a lot of their programs, there has to be these bridges, and that's what New Life Evangelistic Center tries to do, is a bridge between this and just reaching out through the love of Christ.
Has the city done enough to create those bridges?
No, they haven't. In fact, the situation's getting worse. As I told my wife last night, I wish they would just leave us alone so we could go do the work of God. Not only do they not do it, but they inhibit, for example, if a church wants to be a church and do more than just preach on Sunday morning, but truly be a place of refuge, of resources for people during the day, a place for them to rest at night. They fight you on that. They shut you down.
Like they shut down your
Like they shut us down
New
at
Life
14.
Evangelist.
Yeah.
You actually had a building that was a homeless shelter, 1411 Locust, and the city forced you to shut it down.
They shut it down.
And that had hundreds of beds for the homeless.
Hundreds of beds, and we spent
And you had been there, more than 50 years?
At that particular site, that site, about 40 to 45 years. We've been around 53 years. But no, we spent $500,000 fighting them. They would have loved to shut us down like in 2010. We fought it to 2017. We just moved out on the streets with the homeless. That's where we're at right now.
What are your thoughts about the city having fought you on this and forced you to close down this building that was used like a half a century almost to help the homeless and house the homeless with about at least 200 beds?
It's totally ungodly. Totally ungodly. People that have money, they don't want the homeless around. They don't want people around. People are going to find them in their neighborhoods more and more. People are hurting. They have to have somewhere to lay their heads at night. Sleep deprivation is one of the worst crimes in our community, and yet that happens every day by the powers that be, forcing people to just stay on the move. You can't sleep in the library. You can't sleep here. You can't sleep there. It just destroys a person's sense of self-worth, and perhaps this is what have contributed to this man's death. You get this sleep deprivation, the confusion, the frustration till you finally just lay down anywhere. In this case, it was the tracks, and he's killed.
What's your whole reaction to this happening?
Grieving. Once again, grieving. I've already, this is like the fourth incident death that I've seen take place in just the past few months. People dying out here. Most of the time, it's a slow death where they die. They don't even attribute to it being homeless. Their immune system's broken down. The lack of sleep takes its function. They're caught in a cycle. They don't have IDs. They have to get first and last month's rent. Ever had an eviction against them? It can seem pretty hopeless, and that's why my faith's so important to me, knowing that God is in control, and I got to take it one person at a time, one day at a time, and that's what our teams are doing.
Mayor Tashara Jones put out a advertisement saying how much she had done for the homeless. How do you react to that?
It's election time. It's election time. I'm not surprised. She never would talk to us while she was mayor. I guess thought she was too good for us and the homeless folks. She wouldn't sit down at the table and talk. When she first got elected, I had high hopes. We really tried to meet with her. Then we just saw that, well, if she don't want to meet with us, fine. We're going to do our work, but we're also going to try to share the plight of the homeless. I thank God for what you're doing out here, but the need keeps getting worse and worse. More and more people each day end up in the ranks of the homeless. It's a vicious cycle. It's not only the men. There's women, like I said, there's a handicapped woman in the tent over here. There's a woman across the street in there where the man died. They're out here. People have nowhere else to go but just find some woods, camp out. Frequently they're asked to move on. I went all down, looked for homeless. I think they came and just pushed all them out that were living close. This one's on private property. But I think Amtrak after that and the police just pushed them down for over a mile. Pushed them out. So now that's like hitting a bubble with a hammer, a bubble of water with a hammer. They disperse. They just go to another place until they get.
What more should the city be doing?
The city definitely needs to get to know the homeless. They definitely need, number one, they need a day center. Number two, they need shelters not only when the temperature drops below 20 degrees. The people they were helping when it was now that it's above 20 degrees, they're all back out on the streets again, trying to be here, there, and everywhere. We've distributed, like I said, over 650 tents. They're setting their tents up wherever they can. The city definitely needs to connect with them. They get to know them. If they need to set up, I've been saying this for years, set up a couple of acres, an encampment that is let the homeless elect their own leadership. It will work. And then have the social workers there, have them plugged into programs, have them do this. I saw, for example, a church, a navigation center in Austin, Texas. I visited there. I'd love to see a church like that. I'd like to let us do it. Where all day long, social workers are there, people getting fed, showered, and able to do that.
And let me ask you, you were saying that there's an additional problem when the weather gets warmer for the homeless, right? Because all these facilities and shelters close down.
Definitely. People don't think about that. They only open those if it's raining, snowing, 25 degrees or below. If it's not raining, snowing, it's 20 degrees or below. And of course, on these series of warm days, all those places are totally closed down. But they forget that it's not just people freezing to death, getting hit by on railroad tracks, shot out here, hurt out here, sleep deprivation. So the problems are even worse sometimes in the warm weather, and that's not highlighted. People think, oh, the weather's warmed up. No, it's hard living out here whether the weather's good or bad.
So, but those people have fewer places to go.
They don't have
so
anywhere to go.
So all those places, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, they don't have, not only fewer places to go, in most cases they don't have anywhere to go. You can call 211. They always say, call 211. You call it for women and children, all the shelters are full. Men, they finally give up. Veterans out here, no, there's no place. Where are they going to go? They need a low barrier walk-in shelter that they can walk into.
One of the things I'm saying is that we covered it a lot, obviously, when the weather was really cold.
Yes.
But when it warms up, there's still a problem.
People forget about the homeless. The problem becomes even more complex and intense when the weather warms up. And that's what's happening right now. More and more people just trying to, a lot of them just laying down on sidewalks wherever they fall. They begging for sleeping bags.
Or near railroad tracks.
On the railroad tracks, next to the railroad tracks, there's brush often on there so they can hide back in there. They're all over. In this particular stretch, like I said, I've gone down this stretch today with my associate Ray, and it looks like they ran them off for a mile or two down there, unless they're on private property. But they just went down the road further.
Your thoughts about this situation, Ray?
There's a lot, and I'd love for people to I'm going to put this plug in. On March 8th, you'll be there. You get the Social Media Award at Orlando's restaurant. We're going to look at the current situation. We're going to share a lot for a vision for the future. All people need to do is call us at 314-421-3020 and have a free reservation or go to nlecstl.org. But my thoughts on this is, God help us all. I mean, Jesus came on earth, and he said, fox have holes, birds have nests, but he, the Son of Man, had nowhere to lay his head. He said, as oft you done to least these, even so you done to me. It's time we stop playing church. We are church. We need to help these people. These are the people Christ was with and identified with. If we're people of Christ, we're going to be among these individuals. And the opportunities all around us. Let's get busy. People can call us, 314-421-3020. They can link up with our teams, and they can be out there on a daily basis.
Thank you, Reverend. Appreciate it. Reverend Larry Rice, New Life Evangelistic Center. And you can see, like I said, a couple of people who are living right here. The railroad tracks are up there. It's a little bit distance away, but you can see at the very top of that hill. I am not going up there. I'm not going to walk along tracks. That's a felony. That's illegal. So I'm staying some distance away from those tracks. Plus, I wouldn't want to get hit by a train. But I'm staying away from that train, as are these gentlemen here. They are really basically down by a store here in South St. Louis, but this is not that far from where the gentleman was hit. The homeless man was hit and killed by an Amtrak train. There you see the tent. The folks here are living in tents here, and this is how they are surviving. And it is amazing that you find people having put up tents all over, basically just trying to survive, and they're saying there's simply just not enough resources for them here in the city to be able to get in a house, get in a place to stay, and so they are reduced to living in a tent close to a railroad track. They see the trains, of course, running all day and all night. Like I said, if you go up over that hill, you'll see the tracks behind me. I am not going up there, but obviously someone a man was near the Amtrak tracks and got hit by a train and killed. One more example of where people are staying who are homeless, who are just trying to survive, who are just trying to find a place off to themselves, pitch a tent, and just try to make it through another day. And all of them are telling me, including Reverend Larry Rice, is that there's simply not enough being done by the city of St. Louis to help, not enough resources. I am, of course, going to stay on top of this, my Facebook friends.
Paralyzed lady was good to come out and talk to you.
Huh?
She lives in this tent. You'll come over by your tent.
Hold on. Let's see.
Come out. She wants to talk about deeper showers and different things. She can sit in the wheelchair if she wants to. She's in a wheelchair. She lives up here.
Hold on. Okay.
And then put
Here,
her-
I'm gonna. Wait a minute. If I can get this. Let's see. Okay. She's. It's a.
She just said
Huh?
she's coming out.
Wait a minute. I think there's a lady. Hold on. I think there's a lady who is living in this tent, who I was told wants to talk to me. Let me try to go around the other side. Does she, ma'am? Do you want to talk to me? Ma'am, do you want to talk to me?
Yes, I'm coming.
Okay.
Very good. It will help you.
I'm going to see if I can go around the other side. I think there's a. Oh, okay, there she is. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
All right. How did you? What's your name?
Elena.
Elaine.
Oh, yeah.
Elaine, how did you end up out here in this tent close to a railroad track?
I got hurt at work and lost my apartment and stuff. So, because I didn't have any funds to pay it while I worked for getting help for my leg and stuff.
How long have you been out here?
Since October. October.
You've been living out here since October?
Yep.
How hard is it out here?
Terrible. It's terrible. The big thing is finding places as a female for the restroom, taking showers, stuff like that, washing our clothes. Because, I mean, how are you supposed to... A lot of places won't let you be in there if you're not presentable either. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like a catch-22. You know, we can't go in there to wash up, you know, and then we can't be in there.
Hold this
Sorry,
for a second.
I got
Hold
you.
that to you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we can't wash up or anything, so we can't go in certain facilities. And then they want to run us out quickly, you know what I mean? Because they assume everyone's on drugs or, you know, it's terrible.
What made you decide to come over here and live in a tent
Close
close
to
to
the...
a railroad track up there? Do you hear these trains, I guess?
Yeah, they go really fast, too. Like, really,
What's your-
really fast.
What's your reaction to the homeless man being killed on these tracks up here?
Terrible. We actually met him about a week ago, and he was really funny. He was nice. He was a sweet kid, for real. It's sleep. A lot of the time we don't get to sleep a lot. You know, you got to watch yourself, and other people come around and like they just drop trash places, you know, or go through your tent and steal your stuff. You know what I mean? So a lot of it's fighting the cold. You want to stay up and moving a lot of the time because he didn't really have a tent or anything. He had just recently, I guess, found here.
Yeah, so the person we're talking about, the man who was homeless who got killed recently by the Amtrak train. He was by the track. We're talking about the man who was killed by the Amtrak train. He was by the tracks, and the train hit him, and he was killed. And she met him. What's your name again?
Elena.
Elena met him. And what kind of person did you say he was?
He was funny. He was really funny. I saw him that night. I was charging my phone in front of Home Depot, and he came over and he was in a really good mood. You know, he was tired. He was really, really tired, though, he said. You know, and I said, do you have anything? He said, I have a sleeping bag. And I said, how are you fighting the cold? And he said, I stay up and moving. So I think he just kind of crashed. I don't know. When I found out, I was crushed, you know, because he was a really nice kid. My friend Terry actually brought him a coat the next day, too, and I had to tell Terry what had happened. So
Wow, you were just shocked by what happened.
yeah, absolutely, because I had just seen him, so it was a really big shock. And I have a son that's 22, so it's like they're not far away in age. You know what I mean?
How do you avoid the trouble? Obviously, you don't go anywhere near those tracks up there.
No, not at all. I couldn't make it up there if I wanted to, but I wouldn't. You know, they come around really quickly, and you can't tell. You know, a lot of the time they don't even blow their horn or anything. They're there. You know.
You mean the trains?
Yes, the trains.
You said they come around really quickly.
Yeah, I would think faster than they're supposed to go because it's a bridge right there. You know what I mean? And I mean they fly. It's really, really fast.
So you can't really see the trains coming that well before they're up on you, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, you just kind of hear them, but I know it wouldn't give you time to get out of the way, really.
What's your thoughts about being out here in this situation?
I don't know. I think there needs to be more resources. I think if we can donate laundry facilities to people that are, you know, have money and live on Union. You know, I've seen that recently, and I was like, wow, we could use that. You know, they're rebuilding their redoing their building, and they're getting them donated to them by some organization. That's what the lady told me. I was like, wow, they have a home, and they actually have a place set up for them to have a shower. They still have a shower and stuff, but they're being donated washer and dryers because they're redoing their building. That would be awesome if they did that for a day for the homeless. You know what I mean? And
they give you a place to go to wash your clothes.
Yeah, and take a shower, that's safe, and you don't have to jump through a bunch of hoops to be there, because I think that's what scares a lot of people off, is that they want us to do so many other things besides just take a shower and wash our clothes, because I think that frightens people at first until they get to know the people. They're, being homeless, you're very untrusting because so many people have judged us or pushed us away or used us or whatever in the past, that a lot of people don't want to give their information at first. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's scary when they have to go somewhere and give them their name, their social security number, instead of just the premise of washing clothes and taking a shower. It turns into something else. You know what I mean? So I think that's what makes a lot of people untrusting.
What scares you most about being out here?
Being hurt or attacked or something. Yeah, it's safety in numbers. That's why I'm here. So it's they've been really good to me. They help me out a lot. So
you try to have a place where you have people. You try to have a place where you have people around you that you can trust.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing, is finding your little tribe, I guess. So because everybody's kind of into different things, I think, too. So
how challenging was it for you when we had this really cold weather?
Oh, it was bad. It was really bad this year. Yeah, it was just keeping warm was the biggest thing, and not killing yourself with smoke or anything like that. So it was really cold. Layers, lots of layers. I mean, there wasn't a lot of sleep because you would get so cold when you woke up. You know what I mean? And that was a big thing, because you'd be in somewhere getting food like Quick Trip, and you'd find it's warm finally, so they'd be like, oh, you have to leave, you're on drugs, but I'm not. It's just the warmth, you know what I mean, being somewhere and freezing for a minute in line, you're like, oh god, it's warm. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's I think a lot of people are really quick to judge when it's when you're up for and have 5 hours of sleep in the last 3 days. It's you feel that warmth. It's you start to fall asleep.
What would you tell people about people who are homeless? What would you like to get across to people about people who are homeless?
Don't be quick to judge, and I don't know. I think there needs to be more kindness for people and understanding. I mean, I know there's terrible people out there, but there's terrible people with money too that have homes. You know what I mean? So, and sometimes things happen, and if you really think about it, I got hurt at work. If somebody got hurt at work tomorrow and couldn't pay their bills, they could be right in my situation, because that is what happened.
And that's what happened. So, because a lot of people are always saying that the homeless should go get a job, that they don't work. But your situation, you were working.
Absolutely, yeah. And then I lost my apartment, and it's since the pandemic, they want 3 times the amount for the apartment, the deposit, things like that. And I never got evicted or anything. I just couldn't pay the rent because I was waiting for work. Workman's comp, and then while you're waiting, who's paying my bills? You know what I mean? I can't work, and then my leg is still hurt, so now I'm waiting for disability. It's in between there, you don't get any money, so it's I don't know, what do you do? There's nothing to help me except for shelters, and then it's I don't have my ID right now because it got stolen, and then another thing is that they want. Some of them places aren't safe either. I've had people try to fight me, and things like that, or push you out. If you're not in with the group, they will push you out of the shelters, and so the resources available there aren't yours anymore because you're not there. So it's it's really hard, it is. It's kind of being in grade school again with mean bullies, sometimes it is.
For you, it's really survival, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's hard, especially being disabled right now. It sucks so bad. It really does, because I can't work. I wish I could,
So you cannot walk? You depend on a wheelchair?
Right, yeah, my leg doesn't bend.
You can't walk, you depend on a wheelchair?
Right.
You're disabled?
Absolutely. Yeah, my leg doesn't work at all. It was turned backwards, and then it got septic bursitis. I almost lost my life, really, because it got infected. So I can use crutches and then the wheelchair, but I have another surgery to go still before I can use it.
Is there help available when you're disabled and homeless? Is there more help available, or?
I think so. I mean, I've talked to people about it and everything. It's just waiting for disability. Like, who's giving me money to have an apartment or anything? It's, it's like the waiting game. Like, you get on a list and wait. That's really all I could say is wait until somebody decides my name is good enough. You know what I mean?
So you've got the double whammy of being both disabled and homeless.
Yeah, maybe. I don't look at it that way, but
How do you look at it?
I don't know. I could be worse, I guess. I would like to see that glass half full. You know what I mean? So, and I've really seen a lot of kindness from people. You know what I mean? So, it's sometimes you see the bad, but really it's the good. So many people have helped me, really, that don't even know. Not even my own family. I think strangers have helped me more. You know what I mean? Really. So it's kind of nice to see sometimes.
You got a great attitude.
Thanks. I'm trying to be, you know what I mean? It's like, why be negative about it? You know what I mean? It's just that, I'm already sometimes miserable, It's like, why add to it, I'd rather look at it better than, it could be worse, really. It really could. I could not have a little wooden structure. My dwelling, that's what I call it.
This is your house. I guess we could call it a tent.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
would
I
we
mean,
call it?
I call it my dwelling.
Yeah.
My little
it's
hobbit
like,
hole.
It looks like it's wooden here.
Yeah,
And
it's
this is your house.
Yep, this is it. Yep.
And you've been here since October?
Yeah, October.
And you've stayed here it's near the, like I was saying, it's near the railroad tracks right up the hill.
Yeah, it was cleaner, and then I went and stayed in a hotel because the church had paid for it for like a week, and when I came back it was trashed. I don't know if it's kids or other homeless people. And that's the sad thing, is a lot of the other homeless people steal from each other because they know we're off the grid, you know what I mean? Or certain people that are like, on the streets see that,
Right.
and they target us, and it's terrible because then if they steal all your bedding and stuff, where do you keep warm, It's like you said, it's a survival thing. So it's like you just really kind of got to dig your heels in and find your people, that are in, I guess if, like on my case, I worked, my friends have worked, and we, don't do drugs, so it's like, we work well together then, you know what I mean?
Do you have family here?
I do. My mom passed away, my dad lives farther, but I have family, I would call family, yeah. Definitely. He's like
Family
my dad.
just won't help or have helped, or
My
what?
dad, he definitely helps me. He's
Right.
like 83. I love him to death. He can't walk right now. He's getting ready to go into a home. He's elderly. I
Right.
try not to bother him at all. He thinks I'm renting a room, actually, because I don't want him to worry. He doesn't need to worry about me. He needs to worry about being in a home himself, you know what I mean?
Right.
And being taken care of. So he has multiple sclerosis.
Do you envision yourself getting out of this situation soon?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's like the
Because you have
number
such
one
a
goal.
great attitude
Yeah.
being in this situation.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. I don't know. I just feel like if you think negative things are going to happen. So I'm thinking positive, and positive things will happen, So it's like karma, if you give good comes in, So that's the way I feel about it, So I'm hoping something will change. But you guys still got to do the leg work. Even though my leg doesn't work, I'm still doing it. I'm rolling it.
Right.
So it's like networking in a way too. Getting to know people, things like that. So
Well, thank you for talking.
thank you very much.
Okay, and good luck to you.
Thanks, man. Hey, I
Thank-
read your piece. I wanted to tell you about that.
Go ahead. What?
It was some piece you had did on the internet. My dad had me read it.
Mm-hmm.
I forget exactly what it was, but it was about like the Black Lives Matter thing, and it was
No.
super profound, man. I just wanted to
I didn't read it. I didn't do any Black Lives Matter.
No,
pieces.
it was just like a thing about just stuff going on in St. Louis and everything.
Thank you for
Thank you very
everything
much,
that you're dealing with.
Yeah,
I
thank
appreciate you and your dad looking at something that I was doing, and God bless you.
Yeah, thanks, man. You too, definitely. He's here. He's everywhere, so he's good. It'll happen. It'll work out. I have
Thank you
faith.
for talking to me.
Thanks, man.
Harris went to get you. I gave him some money, and he went to get your milkshake.
Oh, awesome.
What are we doing to help this lady? What are we doing to help this lady, Pastor?
We're getting her an ID.
Hold on, around here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, what are we doing to help this lady past?
We're helping
Reverend?
a long-term solution, helping them get their IDs. Okay.
Let's talk about this lady. in
Yes.
particular.
Oh, definitely. Well, that's one of them that we're working on. We're helping her get her ID. Okay. And then she's so thankful, and so is the other folks here. I just gave him a few dollars, and Harris ran down to get her a milkshake, and she's so thankful for that.
And I'll give him a few dollars as well.
God bless you, brother, because
And what else can be done?
Well, first
to
of
help her?
all, we have to get that ID. We get the ID for him, okay? Then after that, you're going to try to get him a job.
What about this lady here? What more can be done to help her, who's disabled in a tent?
Okay, well, first of all, we've got to, again, we get her the ID. We try to find her a place to stay that's more permanent. This is going to take some time. And it's going to take somebody helping to adopt this particular situation, work through the different system. We'd like to have somebody that would just take this case and help her get a place to stay, get some kind of income as far as disability is concerned, and help break this cycle and do it now.
In the meantime, can we bring her some food or
Yes,
something?
we did that this morning. First thing this morning, when we met her, we gave her food, we gave her water, we gave them bus tickets. I gave them some more bus tickets now. Gave them a few dollars so we get some things. Our teams are going to keep.
I'm talking about this lady right
yes,
here,
well,
in particular.
Right. Well, we did that, and we're going to keep giving her more. And our teams are now going to come out and visit her regularly, continuing to bring them more food. Okay, see that they get the water.
She's on the radar now.
She's on the radar now, and I thank God for her coming forward like this and sharing because there she is. She's got a little dog, and this is we've got to get her out of here, get her in a home of her own. But that's going to again take some time. And she brought out something else which is very important. A church did good. During the cold weather, put her in a place for a week. But then when that week is up and they come back here, somebody's trashed all the place. People have to understand how desperate folks are out on the street. Other people that are equally desperate, and they see things left like coats and blankets, jackets. This is their home. Then they may be gone when they come back. So we've got to come up with some long-term solutions. There's no easy solution, but this is a beginning. And it's so sad that it took a tragedy. And we walked up and down this whole area this morning, and we found them. But there's hundreds of people like them. And this is why we have teams that are out daily. When they close down our place, we just went to the streets among the homeless. And there's so many that are out here. But we got to keep working on this case, and we got to get her off the streets.
Okay, there are a lot of people listening now who may have heard this lady's trials that she's having and the positive attitude she's having. Elaine, did you say her name was Elaine? Elena, okay. Elena, that may want to help. They can reach you at New Life Evangelistic Center.
Definitely.
If they want to donate, if they want to help. How do they reach
Well,
you?
if they want to donate, please put Elena's name on your check. Include a note that you saw it on Elliot Davis TV. Send that to us. The office will be aware of that, and we'll see that she gets these funds down here. So remember, put Elena on it. That's one step. Second step, if you want to do more, like just really work with, get involved here, call us at 314-421-3020. That's 314-421-3020. If I'm out on the field like I am frequently, ask for my Chris Aaron, who works with us there, or Dulcie there. They'll plug us in to that. And come out and join us again on March 8th. At our big free dinner at this great restaurant, Orlando's. We'll plug you in there, and that's, again, you make reservations for that, and that's in Maryland Heights, Missouri.
All right, Reverend, thank you. And the New Life Evangelistic Center, people hearing her story who want to help, they can reach out to you at New Life Evangelistic Center.
Definitely,
right?
yes.
And donate.
They can donate, and we'll be
Okay.
able to help them more, the more people that donate.
All right, Reverend, thank you. Okay, that's where we are right now. Obviously, it has been certainly an event. Certainly, it's been an eventful day. We're here near the railroad tracks. I'm not going up on the tracks because it's a felony to walk along the tracks or be too close to them. So we're down from those tracks. But this is not far from where the homeless man was hit by an Amtrak train this week, and he was killed. And I was with Reverend Rice as we came to talk to some homeless people, and we ran into Eleana, who's a disabled woman. She uses a wheelchair, a disabled woman who lives in the tent right behind me. Actually, it's a wooden structure right behind me. And so what's going to happen from here, she's going to be on the radar of the, I'm going to give her a little bit, Reverend Rice gave her a little bit, but more important than that, she's going to be on the radar for the New Life Evangelistic Center, and he's going to try to find housing, try to plug her into the programs for the disabled and try to help her with the situation. She has been living in this structure since October through the cold and everything. It's been a challenge. She was a person who was working. It defies the stereotype that a lot of people have of the homeless, that they don't work. She was actually working, hurt her leg, lost her job. After she lost her job, she lost her apartment, and so has found herself out here homeless, living in this structure in kind of a tent, small tent encampment here. But this kind of goes against those people who don't think the homeless work or want to work. This was a lady who was working, but life took a bad turn, and so here she is. But hopefully now she can get some help. Reverend Rice says she's on the radar, and he's going to try to provide some help. I'm going to do something today to help her a little bit, and but ongoing, New Life is going to try to help plug her into programs that she can get some help, and hopefully won't be out here too much longer. We're going to stay on top of all this, my Facebook friends.